Okay, and we are back. Let's kill this preview so it doesn't do the Inception thing. All right, what's going on? Okay. All right, so let's just continue where we left off here. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. There we go. Ooh, excuse me. Jeez. All right. All right, we got our login icon. So what I want to do now is I want to start reading the Discord Oauth documentation. So what I'm going to do is leave. I'm actually going to pull this guy out, pop the rest of these out, and then I was hoping it wouldn't resize it like that, but that's fine. Okay, there. Now I got this guy over there. And let's see. This other guy can be full screen. Okay. The one thing I really like about MacBooks is being able to work with multiple desktops and just swipe between them and have apps maximize. And it's just not the same with Windows. It just doesn't have the same ability. Like there's multiple desktops, but it's just kind of janky. Let's see. You know what? Why don't we try? It'll take 2 seconds to try. Oh, that's right. I think I remember we can't map a Windows key shortcut. Let's just try real fast. Repeat, scroll down, we'll go to function, and we'll do... Yep, it won't map the Windows key. That's right, I forgot. It's pretty dumb. So we can't even... Because my mouse wheel tilts left and right, and I like to map that to changing spaces on the MacBook, but can't do that. Oh my gosh, my phone is blowing up. Let's see. Come on, show the camera. Sometimes this Wise app, I swear. Come on, show the camera. Good lord. Finally. Okay. Making sure Piggy didn't want in the house. Oh, you know what? I'll be right back. I need to get something to eat or to drink. Okay. Got me something carbonated so that I can. Let's see. Back to this guy. My allergies are going nuts, and it's causing me a little bit of a runny nose, and also I get this weird, like, tickle in the back of my throat, and it forces me to cough to sort of like scratch it. But carbonation also has a very soothing effect on it. Even just a little sip really helps. Okay. All right, let's see if we can focus on this now. There, we can make this nice and easy to read. Okay, so Oauth 2 is a pattern for authentication. It's you basically are exchanging some information to generate a token, and that token can live for X amount of time until it's revoked or expired. But what that does is give an application access to data from a user from another service. And so in this case, we're going to be doing Discord because we want someone to be able to go to our website, click login with Discord, and then they'll be presented with a screen that says you're about to grant access to this website, access to this, and this data from Discord, from your Discord account, like your username, your email, or whatever, something like that. I don't really know that we need much of anything other than just their user ID, because we're not doing anything with their data really. We're just creating a user account in our database, which we're gonna get to. I haven't created a database yet, but when we do get there, we will want our own database. Okay, so OAuth 2 enables application developers to build applications that utilize authentication and data from the Discord API. Within Discord, there are multiple types of OAuth 2 authentication. We support the authorization code grant, the implicit grant, the client credentials, and some modified special for Discord flows for bots and webhooks. Okay, shared resources. The first step to implementing OAuth 2 is registering a developer application. Okay, so we do need to go create. I was actually need to delete these. These were created a long time ago. Messing around with something that ended up being just too much work. Okay, we got a shove bot. Let's do fcast. Fcast TV. That's what we call it. Okay. All right. Application ID. All right. OAuth 2. Okay, we'll keep the secret since we're streaming. All right. Retrieving your client ID and secret. Most people who will be implementing OAuth 2 will want to find and utilize a library. I don't want to use a library. I want to do this ourselves. After you create your application with Discord, make sure that you have your client ID and secret handy. The next step is to figure out which Oauth 2 flow is right for your purposes. Oauth 2 URLs. Base authorization URL, token URL, token revocation URL. Interesting. OAuth 2 scopes. These are the list of all the OAuth 2 scopes that Discord supports. Some scopes require approval from Discord to use. Requesting them from a user without approval from Discord may cause errors to undocumented behavior in the Oauth 2 flow. God, my phone is just blowing up today. Holy crap. Jesus Christ. There we go. State and security. Before we dive into the semantics of the different OAuth 2 grants, we should stop and discuss security, specifically the use of the state parameter, cross-site request forgery or CSRF, and clickjacking are security vulnerabilities that must be addressed by individuals implementing OAuth. This is typically accomplished using the state parameter. State is sent in the authorization request and returned back in the response and should be a value that binds the user's request to their authenticated state. For example, state could be a hash of the user's session cookie or some other nonce that can be linked to the user's session. When a user begins an authorization flow on the client, a state is generated that is unique to the user's request. This value is stored somewhere only accessible to the client and the user, i.e., protected by the same origin policy. When the user is redirected, the state parameter is returned. The client validates the request by checking the state returned matches the stored value. If they match, it is a valid authorization request. If they do not match, it's possible that someone intercepted the request or otherwise falsely authorized themselves to another user's resources, and the request should be denied. While Discord does not require the use of the state parameter, we support it and highly recommend that you implement it for the security of your own applications and data. Sure, we'll do that. Authorization code grant is what most developers will recognize as standard OAuth 2. It involves retrieving access code and exchanging it for a user's access token. It allows the authorization server to act as an intermediary between the client and the resource owner, so the resource owner's credentials are never shared directly with the client. Okay. Response type code, client ID, scope, state, redirect URI. Okay. Client ID is your application's client ID. Scope is a list of Auth 2 scopes separated by URL encoded spaces. Redirect URI is whatever URL you registered when creating your application, URL encoded. State is the unique string mentioned in state and security. Yep. When someone navigates this URL, they will be prompted to authorize your application for the requested scopes. On acceptance, they will be redirected to your redirect URI, which will contain an additional query string parameter code. State will also be returned if previously sent and should be validated at this point. Prompt controls how the authorization flow handles existing authorizations. If a user has previously authorized your application with the requested scopes and prompt is set to consent, it will request them to reapprove their authorization. If set to none, it will skip the authorization screen and redirect them back to your redirect URI without requesting their authorization. For pass-through scopes like bot and webhook.incoming, authorization is always required. Redirect URL example. Okay. Nice meme.website. Okay, and then state will also come back on that as well. I thought. Yeah. Code is now exchanged for the user's access token by making a post request to the token URL with the following parameters. Okay, so this gives us a code. Interesting. Okay, and then we get the code and exchange it for the user's access token by posting to the token URL. I wonder why we'd have to do that. I've never understood why you have to get a code and then you get the token. Why doesn't it just give you the token? Oh, and you have to include your client ID, your secret. Oh, right. Okay. So, well, no, because you already do have to include the client ID. Coda, stop. Oh, the client secret. Okay. So, because this has to be what we redirect the user to. Okay. Buddy, I'll feed you in a bit. You just ate. Okay. So because we have to redirect the client to this one, it can't include the secret. But we have to send them the secret to verify who we are. So we redirect the user to this. The user is presented with, "Hey, this app's trying to access such and such data. Do you allow it?" "Yes, you do." Then it redirects them back to our website with this code. The code basically contains everything we need for it to know that yes, the user approved it. Now we need to be able to get a token that we can store, but in order to get that token, they need our client secret in order to authorize us with the token. So that's why. Okay. And so that's why we have to do this two-step thing. That makes sense. Access token exchange example. Okay. So that is a weird choice of code. Looks like Delphi or something. All right. Let's see. You can also pass your client ID and client secret as basic authentication, with client ID as the username and the client secret as the password, and the response. Oh, okay. So we can either go to this token URL or you can do the basic auth. Why are they giving us that info? Having the user's access token allows your application to make certain requests to the API on their behalf. Restricted to whatever scopes were requested. Expires in is how long in seconds until the returned access token expires, allowing you to anticipate the expiration and refresh the token. To refresh, make another post request to the token URL with the following parameters. Refresh token. Okay. So it's going to expire, and then as we get close to the expiry, we may want to refresh that token. So if the user is using this request before it expires, we can just refresh it. So I'm going to say that every time we log back in, we probably refresh it. Refresh token exchange example. Okay, and then implicit grant. Okay, so that one was authorization code grant. Implicit grant is a simplified flow optimized for in-browser clients. Nah, we're good. We'll be able to do the code grant. Instead of issuing the client an authorization code to be exchanged for an access token, the client is directly issued an access token. The URL is formatted as follows. On redirect, your URI will contain additional URI fragments, access token, token type, expire scope, and state. These are not query string parameters. Be mindful of the hash character. Redirect URL example. Okay. There are trade-offs in using the implicit grant flow. It is both quicker and easier to implement, but rather than exchanging a code and getting a token returned in a secure HTTP body, the access token is returned in the URI fragment, which makes it possibly exposed to unauthorized parties. You also are not returned a refresh token, so the user must explicitly reauthorize once their token expires. Okay, yeah, no, we'll do the proper flow. We should be able to do that. Client credentials grant. The client credential flow is a quick and easy way for bot developers to get their own bearer tokens for testing purposes. Make a post request to the token URL with a grant type of client credentials. Using basic authentication with your client ID as the username and your client secret as the password, you will be returned an access token for the bot owner. Therefore, always be super extra, very, we are not kidding, like really be secure. Make sure your info is not in your source code. Careful with your client ID and client secret. We don't take kindly to imposters around these parts. You can specify scopes with the scope parameter, which is a list of OAuth 2 scopes separated by spaces. Guessing that's what I have with my existing bot. Let's go look. So Chevbot doesn't have Oauth 2 here. Or does it? Okay. Public bots can be added by anyone when unchecked. You can join this bot to only you can join this bot to servers. Okay, privileged gateway intents. That's when it requires approval. Okay. Uh-oh. All right. Those piggies. It's not lunchtime yet. Okay. I was thinking, let's get this OAuth flow working, but then I think after that we're going to hunt for a logo, because I want to change the Chevcast logo. I'm going to go buy something. Something good. You agree to the terms of service? Okay, OAuth 2. And that's to get a token that we can talk to the API on behalf of a user with. Okay. What are bot accounts? Bot versus user accounts. Discord's API provides a separate type of user account dedicated to automation called a bot account. Bot accounts can be created through the applications page and are authenticated using a token rather than username and password. Unlike the normal OAuth 2 flow, bot accounts have full access to all API routes without using bearer tokens and can connect to the real-time gateway, automating normal user accounts, generally called self-bots, outside of the Oauth 2 bot API is forbidden and can result in account termination if found. Oh, okay. So, like, creating a bot that logs in as a normal user? I didn't even know you could do that. Bot accounts have a few differences in comparison to normal user accounts. Namely, bots are added to guilds through the Oauth 2 API and cannot accept normal invites. Bots cannot have friends, nor be added to or join group DMs. Verified bots do not have a maximum number of guilds. Bots have an entirely separate set of rate limits. Bot Authorization Flow. Bot Authorization is a special serverless and callbackless Oauth 2 flow that makes it easy for users to add bots to guilds. The URL you create looks similar to what we use for full stack implementation. Clan ID, scope, permissions, guild ID. Disallows the user from changing the guild dropdown. Oh, okay. Disable guild select. URL example. Okay. In the case of bots, the scope parameter should be set to bot. There's also a new parameter, permissions, which is an integer corresponding to the permission calculations for the bot. You'll also notice that the absence of response type and redirect URI. Bot authorization does not require these parameters because there is no need to retrieve the user's access token. When the user navigates to this page, they'll be prompted to the bot to add the bot to a guild in which they have proper permissions. On acceptance, the bot will be added. Super easy. If you happen to... Let me just make sure. If you happen to already know the ID of the guild the user will add your bot to, you can provide this ID in the URL as guild ID parameter. When the authorization page loads, that guild will be pre-selected in the dialog if that user has permission to add the bot to that guild. You can use this in conjunction with the parameter disable guild select equals true to disallow the user from picking a different guild. If your bot is super specific to your private clubhouse, or you just don't like sharing, you can leave the public bot option unchecked in your application's settings. If unchecked, only you can add the bot to guilds. If marked as public, anyone with your bot's URL can add it to guilds in which they have proper permission. Advanced bot authorization. Devs can extend the bot authorization functionality. You can request additional scopes outside of bot, which will prompt a continuation into a complete authorization code grant flow and add the ability to request the user's access token. If you request any scopes outside of bot, response type is again mandatory. We will also automatically redirect the user to the first URI in your application's registered list unless redirect URI is specified. When receiving the access code on redirect, there will be additional query stream parameters of guild ID and permissions. The guild ID parameters should only be used as a hint to the relationship between your bot and a guild. To be sure of the relationship between your bot and the guild, consider requiring the Oauth 2 code grant in your bot settings. Enabling it requires anyone adding your bot to a server to go through a full Oauth 2 code grant flow. When you retrieve the user's access token, you'll also receive information about the guild to which your bot was added. Okay. Discord's webhook flow is a special version of an authorization code implementation. In this case, the scope query stream parameter needs to be set to webhook.incoming. When the user navigates to this URL, they will be prompted to select a channel in which to allow the webhook. When the webhook is executed, it will post its message into this channel. On acceptance, the user will be redirected to your redirect URI. The URL will contain the code query string parameter, which should be exchanged for an access token. In return, you will receive a slightly modified token response with a channel ID. Gotcha. Cool. From this object, you should store the webhook.token and webhook.id. See the execute webhook documentation for how to send messages with the webhook. Any user that wishes to add your webhook to their channel will need to go through the full Oauth 2 flow. A new webhook is created each time, so you will need to save the token and ID if you wish to send a message to all your webhooks. You'll need to iterate over each stored ID token combination and make post requests to each one. Be mindful of our rate limits. Get current bot application information. Okay. Get current authorization information. Authentication with the bearer token. Example authorization information. All right. Well, I think that's pretty straightforward. So, the first thing we need to do is we need this login button to do something. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually redirect them. So I think we can just use a simple href. And we can send them to /API/login. Okay, if we click this, it should redirect us. It'll 404. Okay, awesome. All right, and then we need our first API endpoint. We have our hello world one here. And we're going to create a new one here called login. Okay. API route support. So import hype, next API request, and next API response from next. Type. Okay, so this is defining the data that we respond with, which we are not going to do. Because we are just going to redirect. So let's actually look up Next.js API redirect. So we can just do res.redirect. Yeah, that's cool. Which means I don't think we need this data type. We should just be able to export default. Uh, request is next API request. And response is next API response. Good, I don't have to type it. Okay, and then we are just going to do response.redirect. And we're going to be going to that URL from the documentation, which was up here, authorize, with an example. Okay, so we're going to have to generate this, and I think, yep, it does have a generator. So I wish this would tell me what these scopes are for, all these different ones. Because I just want, I guess, identify. Let's get their email too. Do I want their guilds? Maybe not right now. Activities, applications. Is there like messages.read? Store.update applications.commands. Permissions. Okay. Applications. Nope. Let's see. Documentation. Surely there's a scope thing. Oh, here's the scopes. Okay. Activities.read. How do you encode that into a, let's see, scope, identify, guilds.join, allows, okay, without email. So I probably want their email. And they're signing up for a website, right? You should be expected to give your email so we can send notifications and stuff like that. Okay, connections. All right, let's see. Allows your app to fetch data from a user's now playing, recently played list. Nope, don't care. Allows your app to update users' activity. Requires Discord approval. Nope. Applications.builds.read. Users' applications. No. What applications? I don't know what that means. Oh. So, like, these. So I can. Oh, that's interesting. That's meta. Alright, I don't care about that. I don't care about their applications. For Auauth bots, this puts the bot in the user's selected guild by default. No, we don't care about that right now. Right now, we're just going to focus on the Chefcast community. We'll expand the bot later. Allows your app to join users to a group DM. Don't think we need that. All of it. Return information about a user's guilds. Joining users to a guild. Oh. Hold up. So could I actually join them to my guild this way? That's cool. All right, guilds.join for sure. Guilds.join. Sweet. Identify. Yep. And I want email. For local RPC server API access, this allows you to read messages from all client channels, otherwise restricted to channels or guilds your app creates. No, that's fine. That's fine. And we're gonna create a bot and put it in the server ourselves. So this is the client authorization. So this has nothing to do with the bot. It's hard to keep this all straight. Holy crap. Okay. Relationships allows your app to know a user's friends And implicit relationships. Nope. Don't care. Requires Discord approval, Discord approval, Discord approval. No. A webhook that is returned. The Oauth token response. Okay. Wait. Guilds.join allows guilds, guild ID members, user ID to be used for joining users to a guild. Adds a user to the guild, provided you have a valid Oauth 2 access token for the user with the guild's join scope. Oh, so because that's like similar to adding a bot to the person's guild. But this is fine because I want to be able to say, oh, you're coming to my website for the first time and you haven't been to our Discord, then join our Discord and boom, we've already authorized you. You're already added. Like as soon as you sign up, you're automatically in the Discord. So that's cool. Okay. But it says guild.join on bot required to have a bot account linked to your application. But why? Or add a user to a guild, your bot has to already belong to that guild. Okay, fine. So that means we gotta come down here and add a bot. Just call it ChevBot for now, even though it's confusing because I already have a ChevBot. One thing we are gonna do though is we're gonna kick ChevBot out of Chevcast community. I forgot I have to log in as the owner of this server, which I'm not because I wanted to be able to. I gotta check my email because I might have a Halo Infinite invite. Are you kidding me? Damn it. Wow. Well, hopefully soon. Spam. Let's check spam. Okay. So we got a bot. Bot permissions. This is just to calculate the permissions, but I'll just give the bot whatever permissions I want. It's definitely going to be an admin in my server. Real quick, let's log out of my normal account. Change that to be Chev admin. What? All right. Let's see about Fantasy Grounds. Oh, just new. Mods. Okay, so now I should be able to kick this guy. Anyone using custom usernames in here? No one was using them anyway, so that's fine. Real quick, I was going to change my profile stuff here. Excuse me. No. There we are. Let's change this to just admin. Really? Okay. Then it's Chev admin, I guess. And then let's change our email to admin Chev. Oh my gosh. I can't type today. Go change that in LastPass before I forget. This is just admin now. Password should be the same. Okay. Great. And then question edit. Oh, here we come. Halfer. Already on it. God, this guy. I hate this user. I really do. Really do. Oh, that's right. ShipTech isn't even being hosted on my virtual machine anymore. It's only being hosted on. I'm paying for Ghost Blog. That's right. Forgot about that. All right. Okay. So no, we don't need that right now. Where was I? Ah, yes. We added a bot. Chevbot. Let's go ahead and add him to our server. So we will create a bot invite link. And we'll give him administrator access. That should do it. All right. And then we're going to go ahead and put him in the Chevcast community. Great. Great. All right. Okay, so got ChefBot in here, except because he's offline, right? Because we're not logged in as the bot, which is fine. We'll do that later. So it just has to have a bot and be in the server. That allows us to create the we wanted the guilds join. Yes. Why is this not? I guess we probably want access to their guilds to see if they're in a guild. Why is this not? Oh, add redirect. Okay, well, this will be chefcast.tv/API slash auth callback. Okay, that's what I needed that. Perfect. Okay. Now, if I go to this URL, I should be prompted to provide my info. Made a happy little tree. I'm really annoyed that I don't have a Halo invite yet. I better get one. I'm so excited for Halo Infinite. Oh wait, DX diag. I want to upload a new DX diag to Halo Waypoint because I forgot the one that's up there is my old computer. Desktop. That's fine. Choose file. Okay. Well, sure hope I. Oh, looks like piggies are ready to eat. So, real quick, let's just test this. Authorize. And it redirected us, which we got a 404, was what we expected. And there's our code in the URL there. Okay. So we just got to implement that endpoint now, but I will be right back as I feed piggies. Alrighty. Animals are all fed. Okay, so we got that code grant, and now we need to take that code and use it to join to get a token. So we have to go token URL. Okay, so there's the code, and then we got to put our client ID in there. Oops. Client ID equals, and that's got to come from our bot right there. Okay, and then we need client secret, which we'll just regenerate the secret later, so it's fine. I'll just reveal it. Okay, and then client secret grant type must be set to authorization code. And redirect URI equals, and then we'll go ahead and URL encode something. Encode URI component, and we'll just put HTTPS chefcast.tv/API/ oh no, I think we just want to go back to chefcast.tv. Right? No, this is when we're going out to inside. That's right. We're going to get a token back. So actually, it's fine. We'll just do chefcast.tv just for the hell of it, but we will need something else. We'll see what not allowed. Oh, is that because this thing is not public? Oh no, that's just the bot. Oh, I already made it public. Is it just because the code expired? Like it has to be done faster? If that's the case, then let's just go OAuth to identity, email, guilds join, copy. Let's get our code and go back over here, replace our code. Nope, not allowed. What in the world? Oh, is it supposed to be a post? Is that the problem? Authorization code grant, a post. That's it. All right, so we will copy all this. open Postman somewhere. There we are. Okay, post. Okay, send. Invalid client. Fine. Are you done updating? Okay. Client. Oh my hell. Client ID. No, that was correct. Let's see. Let's look at the documentation again. It says post requested with the following parameters. Does that mean we need to put it in the body? Oh yeah, form encoded. So data equals data. Okay, got it. Params. Can we convert these to body params? All right, code. Let's put our code in there. Client, come on, client ID. Client secret. Grant type. Authorization code. And then the redirect URI. Then does that even need to be encoded if it's in a form? Doesn't look like it. So. All right, let's try that. Invalid code. Okay. Closer. I think the code just expired. So let's take that code, run over to Postman, give a new code grant, invalid redirect URI. God damn it. I guess we got to do API/auth callback, because that's one of the valid ones I added. All right, there we go. Identify email guilds.join, token type bearer. Now we can start talking to the API using a token. All right. So let's go implement that actual. Let's see. This was a 200, and it came back with that object. So do I not even need a redirect URI? Valid code. Let's do another code. No, so I do need a redirect URI. But then it doesn't actually redirect, right? The response is 200, and I get back JSON data. Why do I have to include a redirect URI? Just because, so I know what it is? Just like validate? Yeah. Here's for set, and it gets the JSON from the response. Yeah, so. Huh. I don't know. That's really weird. And then potentially we could include state here, I think it said. State. So we could do like, let's go back to this code flow. Oh, no, not that one. And state equals pineapple pizza. Okay, authorize state equals pineapple pizza. Okay. So yeah, we could just generate like a GUID or something. Put that there. And then save that and validate it on its way back. All right. I think we're okay. Let's go to the redirect here. Oh, we need a config. How do we want to do this? I could just do plain old environment variables like I've done before. Let's do some Googling. Let's do node config. Isn't there? Config npm. So this means I have to check in sensitive data though. I've always felt like this is overkill. I'm just going to use node env.env. Okay, so what we need to do for that is npm install.env. Okay, and then we need to create a .env file. And that's where we'll put our config stuff. However, we need to add that to the git ignore. Oh, that's right. Next already has this built in somewhere. Right? Thought. Let's see. Next.js, env, environment variables. Let's see. Next.js, run server-side code at startup. Is there a better way than our custom server? Okay, so I did go the right route then with the custom server. App.prepare. Did see something like that somewhere. Where did I see that? Oh, in the custom server, right. We're already doing that. Okay, so we got our environment.local. So the problem I'm running into is we got environment variables, built-in support, floating environment variables, process.env, example.env.local. This loads process.env. Data fetching methods, API routes. So I shouldn't even have to install .env. Or an update? Let's get that update. Okay. Let's destroy hello, because that's just an example and we don't need it anymore. Okay, and then when I want to test something, I want to put blah equals hi there. And then let's log this out. If I do console.log process.env.blah, is that hi there? Oh, cool. So I'm guessing that's not the case though. If I put this up here, I'll bet you that only happens in the prepare. Undefined. Yep. Okay. All right. So that's fine though, because I only really need it inside there. So we're good on environment variables. Next.js is pretty cool. I just hate having to create this custom server, but that's all right. Like, why can't there just be a hook? Why can't I just have a startup or a init file like those guys are saying? That would be great. Okay, so we're going to put our Discord client ID, Discord client secret, Discord bot token. Those are all going to be from here. So there's client ID, client secret, and then I guess that can be hard coded. Bot reveal token. Okay. Oh, that's a JWT token. You can tell by the dots. All right, and in fact, just for shits and giggles, jwt.io. Isn't there a tool debugger? Oh yeah. Oh, it's not valid. Whatever. Must not be a JWT. Okay. Oh, somebody want in already? Spooker just getting back on the bed. Oh, you got back on the bed. Okay. Oh, right. The URLs. That's what we want now. So we wanted to copy the Oauth URL. I wish this saved the scope. Discord authorization. Actually, what's this called? Oauth 2 URL. All right. Oauth 2 URL. Be more explicit. Okay. So we got the OAuth, and then what we need after that is Discord token URL, and then Discord token revoke URL. All right. That's all we need. Okay, now we can come back here. And I can do... I'm not going to be able to pull that out up at the top, am I? We want to do it in a function. I think I want to create a config file. Yeah, let's do a new file. Config.ts. Kind of liked the pattern from my other chevbot. Let's go to sevtech chevbot. I did a config thing in here. Config properties. Let's go make sure these are in alphabetical order. And bot token needs to go up top. Secret OAuth URL. Okay. The secret. To URL, token URL, Discord, Oauth 2 URL, Discord, token URL, Discord, token. Okay. What did I do here? What is all this crap? Export default, object.keys, config property, reduce, and key in, key of, type of, config. to be an enum. Is this saying it's any type? Why don't I just make this an array? That would make more sense. Okay, and then we'll just do big keys. Reduce. Or I guess I should do type. Uh, TypeScript. Control. Uh, TypeScript mapped type based on array of strings. Perfect. Okay, that's more like it. Does that have to be as const? I don't get that. Ah. The same thing, essentially. A little cleaner to look at, maybe. Okay. All right, that's good. Great. Now we have a strongly typed map of configuration variables. So it does mean I have to type them twice, which does suck, but it's okay. I at least now can come over here and I can import. Oh. Shoot, I just realized this needs to be a function. Default config. It needs to be some kind of initialize function. So const config needs to equal an empty object with the record type of config keys, number string. Oops, I did that backwards. And then this one, this needs to be export init config export const init config equals environment. Okay. And we got to get rid of that. We're not going to do that anymore. We're just going to iterate over config keys dot for each key. We're going to add right, and then that stuff inside here. env key. Why are you upset? Oh, wait, hold on. I could do. I could actually do. Let's config equals. Set these. Defined. Or maybe we set to empty strings. That way, it always expects to have a string value. Yes, but we have a check guard here to make sure that they are populated from the thing, or the app won't even start. Okay, great. So we actually don't need any of this anymore. Instead, we're going to iterate over object.keys of config. Config key. String. Got upset. Process env. Can I just do that? That. Very confused as to why key is a string, and then this is saying element implicitly has any type, expression of type string can't be used to index type. Const key equals, wait, no, excuse me, type key equals type of key of config. Type. There we go. Okay, and then key type just key. Why? Okay. So what if I do as key? Or as key. Okay. Yeah. Because key of type of config ultimately a symbol, a number, or a string, I think, and that's why it's upset. ENV. It doesn't matter. I don't need to pass that. Pass that. All right, now let's go to our custom server, and we have to initialize this. So even before we create the server here, I want to init config. So we're going to pull in import init config from actually want to make that its own module too. Let's do a utilities folder. Utils. We'll put config in there. Yes. And then we'll add a new file in there. Package.json. And give it name. Name. Utils. Version. In this case, I just want to do utils/config. There we go. And then we want to app.prepare. So let's actually do something real fast. So do an async self-invoking patch console.log will be a, let's see, await app.prepare. Why are you upset? Oh, wow, I can't spell. That's why. Okay. And then after app prepare, initial. So here we're going to do await init config. Actually, that's not even. Okay. Ship bot, and then we got create server. Response. Start HTTP server. Parsed URL. Parse request.url. True. Response parsed URL. And then after that's alive, console.log. Actually, did we find where we're running? app URL. Do it like that. We'll need config. And then also we got to go back to config and we got to add app URL. Config. App URL. Sweet. Listen. 3,000. And that's always going to be the same because of our Docker container, so we don't even need to change it. Cool. Okay, and then we can delete the rest of this. Figure Next.js app. Initialize config object with .env values. Great. This is looking good. Looking good. Oh, yeah, let's pull in node env. Oh, wait, no, that's never going to be set in the .env. Or should we? Yeah, we probably should, actually. Node env. Okay, and in the .env local. Yeah. We don't need that anymore. Instead, what we need is We can't destructure. Yeah, we can't destructure. Oof. We have to init config before that. Because these will be empty if we destructure before we init config. There we go. That should do it. Okay, there. Let's just do a little console.log of node env. Well, I guess we don't have to worry about it because I already put it in this down here. Okay. Now, oh, it's not defined. Why? It so is defined. Oh, it crashed because it so is defined, though. Oh, right. Because we can't init config until after this. Oh, this is gross. That's gross. Shoot. Environment variables are only pulled in after app.prepare, but we need that. This one's just going to have to be. Wait a minute. Makes no sense. Next.js custom server. I guess that would be defined outside of the .env, huh? For node env. All right. All right. I think we're just going to have to. That guy there. Yeah, we're going to have to take node env out of here. That's just not going to happen. Forgot to take that one off. Defined mode. Okay. Let's see. Development mode. Okay. Great. That's great. Let's node env equals Was it?